I would possibly be an architect, makeup put on, everybody poking your face with the brush. This boy went to the new boy and said, "Oh my God, why are you wearing shoes?" My rehearsal was happening while the audience was still in. In those days, we had this magazine Vogue, and we had a magazine called Glamour.
What motivates you every day to wake up and direct shows?
What motivates me every day to wake up and direct shows? I think my job. I absolutely love what I do. And that's all that I need to wake up every morning and be excited about what I do.
If not a show director, what would you be and why?
If I wasn't a show director or part of the fashion industry, I would possibly be an architect and an interior decorator, because that is also a really big passion for me. I absolutely love doing that. And I think I remember when I was a child and people would ask you questions, what do you want to be when you grow up? I used to say an architect or a pilot. Those were two things. But I think now, as I've grown up, I think I would have probably veered into architecture and interior design.
Have you directed any shows before directing?
Yeah, okay. Yes, I was always interested in fashion as a young growing up girl. I think like most girls. In those days, we had this magazine Vogue, and we had a magazine called Glamour. And we used to scour the pages looking at every little details of makeup and hair and fashion and clothes and shoes and what have you. So it was definitely an interest that I had from a very, very young age. And it's so funny that when I went into college, when you get ragged in college the first day, they kind of make you do things. I was asked to walk like a model. I don't know if that's prophetic or what, but the interest in fashion was always there. And during the college festival, I was asked to direct a fashion show. So we took all of our mom's saris and we draped them into these beautiful drapes. I still have pictures from it, and I sort of directed the show and also modeled in it. So I think it started at a younger age, for sure.
Best project you have worked on so far other than SDI?
Best project I worked on. I think there are way too many for me to pinpoint one particular project. If I go into just recent work, I would say that I did a show just now with Rajesh Pratap Singh, which was not a fashion show. We created this big empty Olympic size swimming pool into a show area, into like a party area. We put in a live DJ, covered the entire pool with this stunning print that Rajesh Pratap had done. And we invited the audience 2 hours in advance to say, come and party. So we put them in the pit, we put them outside, and we were like, just have a good time. We played the music. My rehearsal was happening while the audience was still in. And then when the show happened, we literally, of course, had to tell the models exactly what they were doing, but also told them that just have a good time. Don't think of this as a fashion show. So just party, dance, do what you want, pull people out of the audience, and just like everybody just have a really good time. So it was a really interesting experience. I've done a show at the Red Fort, which was an incredible experience, which I did with FTCI. We've done a show in some incredible locations, the banks of the river Sabarmati, in the Old English Mint in Kolkata, in beautiful old fortresses all around the country. Just amazing work done. So, I've had the opportunity to work with amazing designers like Sabyasachi, Anamika Khanna, Manish Malhotra, Gaurav Gupta, Anita Dongre. There are just so many. So and with each and every one of them, we've done some really iconic shows. So it's really hard to pinpoint any particular show as being the best, really.
What's your least favorite memory working in this industry?
Least favorite memory working in this industry? I've been in this industry a really long time. Almost 25 to 30 years, about 12, 13 years of modeling, and then another 12 to 13 years of show direction, it's a really long time. There have been so many ups and downs in life. There've been a lot of good incidents, good memories, bad memories. It's really hard to pinpoint any one particular one. I guess that's life. I think for me, the one thing that I absolutely hated when I was modeling was early mornings. Sometimes you have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, drive to location, get makeup put on, everybody poking your face with the brush, even though you were like, all you wanted to do was curl up in bed and go to sleep. So early mornings were definitely not my favorite. As far as show direction is concerned, gosh, there are so many things that go wrong. In fact, I say to myself that at shows, if something has to go wrong, it will. I don't think there's ever been any particular show I remember where things have gone smoothly. There is always some last minute problems that happen and so on and so forth. But having said that, it's again all part of life. And I guess I won't call it like a bad memory, no.
Anything you regret not knowing about the industry before you got into the field?
I don't think anything. I don't think I regret not knowing anything, except the fact that it's so addictive. I never want to be out of it. I absolutely love what I do, and I hope to continue to do so for a very long time to come.
Do you ever watch your earlier shows?
Never. Never. Once a show is done, it's done for me. I just don't have the patience to sit and rewind and watch a show again to figure out what mistakes were made or what went perfect and right. It's all in my head. So when I'm doing a show, there is almost like a tape recorder that's going on in my head at the same time, which is kind of recording things all the time of, what is going right, what could have been better, what looks amazing, and the decisions that we have to take at the show time is literally split-second decisions. And you have to go with your gut mainly, because you can plan as much as you want, but nothing ever goes exactly according to plan. And there are lots of changes that you make, which are also different from your planned path when you're doing the show. So it's all there in the head, really. And I remember. So no, I just don't have the patience. I just could never go back, rewind a show and look at it. I just couldn't do it, no.
Can you share the funniest moment that makes you laugh?
I think the funniest moments that I can remember or recall is more from my modeling days than from show direction days. In those days when we used to model, the boys were very naughty and they used to play a lot of pranks. And I remember one of my first few shows, there were these two male models, and there were one male model who had been around, had experience, and there was a newer boy. And he was trying to play a prank on the newer boy. They were all dressed in tuxedos and they had to enter from two separate entries. So they could not see each other when they were entering. And backstage, this boy went to the new boy and said, "Oh my God, why are you wearing shoes?" The designer said, "Absolutely no shoes." And he was like confusing, "I'm wearing a tuxedo." No shoes. Look, I'm not wearing any shoes. He'd of course kept his shoes next to his entry point. And when the cue came for them to enter, both of them entered together, both dressed in tuxedos, one fully dressed with his shoes on and the other barefoot. I remember the show director had an absolute fit after the show and how much we laughed about it. So like this, there are tons of memories that I have, amazing ones. It's been really fun.
How likely are you to recommend this profession to the youth?
Highly likely. I remember when I first got into the fashion industry, and that was several years ago. I remember my relatives telling my dad and my mom, "Why are you letting her get into this industry? It's not a great industry and it's hardly a profession." I came from a family of quite an intellectual family. Where everybody did like masters and studied and, was totally inclined in that direction. And fashion sort of didn't really feature in our lives much, except my own interest in fashion. So I remember my relatives telling my father that you're ruining her life, you're allowing her to get into the fashion industry, it's not really a real profession. And I'm so glad that, my dad didn't listen and let me do what I wanted to do. And I would 100% recommend it to the youth of today, because things have, of course, changed a lot over the years as well. It's a fantastic profession. It lets you express your creativity in the best way possible. It is a profession. I've been in it for almost 25 to 27 years now. So that says a lot. It's not a profession that just gets over after a little while. If you work hard towards it and you better and better yourself and challenge yourself every day, you will only just grow. So I would say that please don't listen to people saying that it's only a hobby. It is definitely a profession, and it's a really good one at that. It gives you great opportunities to express yourself creatively, travel. You get to travel to the most incredible places. You come across and work with incredibly creative people, which is so exciting. For me, every day is exciting, every day is new. And I would say, yeah, please, if you're considering one, go for it.
What's something you have achieved that you are most proud of, and why?
I think the one thing that I'm proud of is the fact that I can stand on my own 2 feet. I'm not dependent on anybody, and I have been able to be successful in what I started out to do. So I think as a woman, it's very important that you earn your own money, that you're independent, and you have an identity which is your own. It's not dependent on your husband or your family or being a wife or just being only a mother. There is something other than that as well that you can do and be good at.
Do you ever reflect back on the mistakes you made, and what's the process of you dealing with it?
I'm actually a very self-critical person. I've been told enough number of times that I'm very critical of myself and quite hard on myself. So yes, definitely I would always reflect back. Every time I've done a show or any job, I always reflect back to see what could have been done better, where are the places where mistakes were made, because my profession and my job is such that once it's on, there's no taking it back. So while stuff is going on, you're constantly, a part of you in your brain is constantly recording and monitoring the mistakes that might have been made or what could do better. So even though I will never go back and look at a show again and rewind it and watch it, because I just can't do that. But definitely while the show is going on, 100% I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly figuring out where I've made a mistake, what could I have done better, what didn't work, and maybe I should not make that mistake for the next show. So definitely, all the time.
What's the lowest point of your career until now?
Lowest point? I don't really know. I mean, I would say possibly the most difficult time was obviously the pandemic to some extent, which was the case with everybody else. Suddenly we were leading these completely normal lives, going about our way, doing whatever we did, and then suddenly, boom, everything just came to a standstill. So it was a period of reflection, of looking back and questioning everything that sort of made you who you were. Having said that, from a professional point of view, of course, it was the lowest point. But from a personal point of view, I think it was one of my highest points, because it gave me an opportunity to spend a lot of time with my family and my children in particular, a lot of quality time. Before that, for 10 years, it was manic. I was always on a flight, rushing here, rushing there, trying to constantly keep my life in balance between work and kids and family and whatnot. It was quite crazy. So this was, from a personal point of view, a fantastic time where we reconnected, spent a lot of quality time together, did lots of things together, and learned a lot of things about each other as well. So yes, professionally the lowest, personally the highest.
Who inspires you?
I think our designers. The design talent in our country is incredible. And I've seen, we kind of all grown up together. I remember when I started modeling, Ensemble had just opened, Glitterati had just opened. Designers were kind of starting their careers and professions at the same time. So I kind of feel like we all sort of been growing up together, and it's been a very special time. So, I mean, the same way that I have grown as a person, I'm sure everybody else has as well. And it's definitely the designers, the craft that they keep alive in our country. The fact that so many of them are going into sustainable practices and taking on like villages and artisan clusters in various parts of the country and giving them a life, giving them jobs, giving them a reason to stay alive. To me, that completely inspires me. It completely does. Also, the other people that I work with, musicians, who do such fabulous music every time, new techniques of makeup, new techniques of styling, meeting different people all the time, literally on every profession. Sometimes I look at people who do a 9-to-5 job, they kind of meet the same people every day. But in my profession, pretty much with each job, we come across new people every time. And you just grow every time you meet a person. You learn so much. So I think the fact that I do what I do just inspires me every day.